And apart from this one, so many other routes of the administration are also there, like the intradermal or intracutaneous injection. Intradermal means inside the skin. Drug is injected within the layers of the skin. So this example for this type of the routes of administration is administration of the this tuberculin, this antigen, especially intradermal tuberculin test is done, and using a very small intradermal needles are very specially designed. Their length is very just less than 1 centimeter. It will be there. Then you can directly inject the drug into the cutaneous tissue. And intra-articular route is drug is administered into the joints. Means many times whenever there is a severe arthritis and there is a what you call as the infection of the joint, then directly we can give the injection of especially the steroids or some antibiotics are used especially in case of the cattle. And intracardiac, here the drug is administered directly into the heart muscles. So this type of the injection is only used in case of emergencies, if there is a severe syncope or there is anaphylactic shock. In such condition, to stimulate the heart, directly the adrenaline or epinephrine are directly injected into the what you call as the directly into the heart. And sometimes for experimental purpose also, the injections are directly injected inside the heart muscles. And intracerebral, here the drug is administered directly into the brain. Especially this type of the route of administration is used whenever there is what you call as brain tumors. Then sometimes therapy of the a part of the brain especially, but this is one of the highly skilled person is required to give the intracerebral injection, because if it goes to any other site apart from the intended, there is a chance that the person may get paralyzed. So one should know what are the sites of these particular injections are there. Usually the experts are only going to inject these intracerebral route, etc. Skilled persons, they should be trained very well, and in such condition only the intracerebral injections are used. And intraruminal, this is a very common route of the administration of some drugs, especially anti-bloat agents. And collection of the rumen fluid is this intraruminal route is very commonly used in case of the cattle, buffalo, sheep, and goat. This intraruminal to collect the rumen pH and also to administer some of the drugs like the this especially sodium thiosulfate. Sodium thiosulfate is a drug. It is effective in case of cyanide poisoning, and such drugs are administered intraruminally. Rumen is located on left side of the animal, and just in the paralumbar fossa, you have to administer the no, you have to pierce the needle, then there you can administer the drug. And intrapulmonary, of course, this route is a common route of administration in case of pulmonary disorders in human beings. Of course, we are not using such a commonly this route in case of veterinary practice. Then the drug is administered to the lungs directly. In between the intercostal space, the needle is pierced and directly the drug is administered to the lungs. And another route is intravesical. So intravesical means the drug is administered into the urinary bladder using a catheter. So the especially in case of the some this urinary tract infection, the upper urinary tract infection, a catheter is passed through the urinary tract so that it is placed in the bladder. Then the drug is injected, maybe an antibiotic, or sometimes this route of administration is also used to diagnose the urinary tract problems. So the drugs are injected directly into the what you call as the vesicle or urinary bladder, then recurrent radiographs are also taken. Then another route of the administration is intracavemosal. Intracavemosal. Drug is administered into the base of the penis. So this route is somehow used in case of the human beings whenever it is required, and intravitreal is a route of administration. Drug is administered through the eye, especially sometimes, especially retrobulbar anesthesia is given in such a way that it is given inside the eye through eye, and intracerebroventricular route of the administration is another route. It is administered into the cerebroventricles, and used as a last line of the opioid treatment of the cancer patient. So directly here, the opium or the morphine are directly used, and they are put in the intracerebroventricular cerebroventricular tissues, so that whenever there is a what you call a lot of pain in case of cancer, the cancer patients after chemotherapy they will suffer from a lot of pain. So that such type of the pain cannot be treated by usual anti-inflammatory agents like the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents. So opioids are required in such case, and if you administer the opioids using the normal routes, it is not going to cause the very effective action. Then the opioids should be used intracerebroventricular route. And the another route of the administration is inhalation or pulmonary or the inhalation route. So through the breathing via nasal passage, inhaled through the mouth. Usually here you can see that a special mask or mouth mask is placed on the nose, and through the mouth the drug is administered. So that's known as the inhalation or pulmonary route of the administration. And the drug or the gas here, the drug usually is a gas, and it will directly go into the lungs. And from the lungs, the drug is absorbed into the circulation and emits its action. Usually it is by atomization into smaller particular such as the gases are used here. Smaller particles, droplets are used. So once inside the lungs, the drug is absorbed from the alveoli into the bloodstream. Yes, in case of lungs also, lot of this as lot of drugs are available. The surface area is very high here, and hence the large surface area we can give the injections. Then please mute your Ranjita, please mute your audio. But the large droplets which are retained in the upper respiratory tract have mainly the local effect, and the smaller droplets go into the deeper side of the alveoli and are better absorbed to produce systematic effect. So here, many times the gases like maybe anesthetics or sometimes the oxygen or sometimes the carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and many more gaseous agents can be used from this particular route is concerned. And here, the very large drug particles which are having the particle size of 20 micron do not enter the respiratory tract. Here, please remember the size of this thing more than 20 micron do not enter the respiratory tract. Large drug particle 5 to 10 micron deposited in the upper airways, and intermediate sizes particles 3 to 5 micron are deposited in the bronchi and bronchioles. Small particles 3 microns are deposited in the alveoli, and these are the one which are going to be absorbed through the alveoli, and very small particles which are less than zero point 0.5 micron fail to deposit as they are exhaled back. So some of the gases, especially the gaseous agents which the molecular size is particle size is less than 5 micron is not suitable for the inhalation route, and usually the 3 micron and 3 to 5 micron deposited in the bronchi and bronchioles, they are absorbed into the properly. And advantages of the particular route of administration or inhalation route is controlled administration of the drugs. Administration of the drug for a moment to moment adjustment is done, and it avoids the drug loss through hepatic and intestinal first pass effect. So here we can avoid the hepatic and intestinal first pass effect. So of course, that's the intestinal first pass effect is some of the enzymes are also present in the intestine, which are going to degrade the drug into some metabolites. So that's also through intestine, and also the food and other barriers can be applied, and the respiratory tract diseases. So this type of the respiratory tract diseases, one of the disease is asthma. Some many of the time the inhalant agents, beta 2 adrenergic agonists, terbutaline, asthalin, and many other drugs are administered through the inhalation route. Then there are many disadvantages of these routes also. Special techniques or devices are required. The special techniques like some of the inhalers are, you have seen the devices which are used for the drug disposition for this particular route is concerned. No, you are seen in the dosage forms, and then it is not suitable for irritant vapor and gases because such drugs cause irritation and inflammation of the respiratory tract. For example, certain, especially carbon dioxide and other things, they are irritant in nature. So many of the times these inhaled gases, they are also highly irritant, and such gases or drugs cannot be administered through the inhalation because they will induce the omission, not the omission, this what I say cough, productive cough or non-productive cough they may induce, and it is a very difficult situation. Difficult to regulate the exact amount of the dosage. That's one of the thing. But in case of gases, the per kg and other thing cannot be given, but they can be administered in mass. So it is not a convenient route for domestic animals because it requires special apparatus, just like boils apparatus and other thing. They are required. A special mask is required, special mask, and the skilled person is required because the dosage need to be monitored very carefully. That's why this route of administration is not especially for cattle itself. Nowadays, the domestic animals like cat and cattle, they are very commonly anesthetized. Cat and canines, they are very commonly anesthetized using the inhalant, inhalant drugs. And apart from this one, there are the topical applications. Topical applications are the drugs. Body surfaces like skin and mucous membrane, it is applied. The effects of the part of the body which is applied, to which it's applied, thus producing localized effect because directly, suppose there is a wound is there, then so you can apply some lotion, some paste, or some electuary also can be applied. And the skin is one of the major organ through which the topical application is done. So produce variable pharmacological effect on the skin or deep inside the skin, and every time we cannot expect that the absorption should be very prompt, and the epicutaneous or outside the skin produce local effects, then the percutaneous or through the skin produce the systemic effect, and usually below the dermis or epidermis or this thing, a lot of capillaries are going, and the drug may reach that particular site and do the action. Suppose whenever you are having some pain, especially in the leg, etc., the Volini, which is containing the diclofenac sodium, is sprayed on the body. That's also known as one of the topical application. Then it immediately gets us the relief because the drug penetrates inside the cell, and there it inhibits the particular this thing. Especially the NSAIDs are going to inhibit the prostaglandins, and the pain is directly immediately it's reduced. Usually the percutaneous injection produces the systemic effect, and the absorption occurs in proportional to its lipid solubility because the epidermis often behaves as a lipid barrier. Usually, more lipid soluble drugs are easily absorbed from the cutaneous tissues concerned. The example for this thing is the organochlorine compounds, especially the pesticides like DHC, DDT, which are banned. And if this animal is bathed with this particular solution, then most of the time it is absorbed directly into the circulation because it is highly soluble in the lipid. So the skin is also prepared from the lipid, so the drug easily percolates inside the skin, then it's absorbed. Whereas the epicutaneous route means epidermis means above dermis, especially the psoriasis, eczema, dermal infection, itching, and photosensitization. These are all present in the epicutaneous, means above the skin or just below the dermis. So this type of the injections. So certain opioids used in pain therapy are specially designed as transdermal patches to deliver the active constituents. And sometimes the application of the drugs on skin may be done in many other ways. Like one is the bath. So this is bath, foot bath, or the body bath is given. Bathing or immersion of the body of its parts in medicated water or any other fluid is known as bathing. The sheep and goat, so there will be a bathing tank will be present, and about 2% of solutions of this deltamethrin or any acaricide which are against the ticks or lice. So then the animal is made to dip in that particular tank, then it's known as the bath. And after that thing, the ticks and the lice, they vanish away. And dip in veterinary medicine, dips are generally used to kill ectoparasiticides in case of small animals, especially the cats and dogs. So it's known as the dip in a particular, what you call as a vessel. The medicated lotion is prepared and the animal is dipped inside that particular vessel. Then inuction, application of semi-solid or liquid drug preparation on the surface of the body by rubbing the or frictions. So that's known as inuction. And dusting is application of fine particles on the body surface. That's known as the dusting. And spray, many times the sprays are also used, application of the drug on skin in the form of the mist, or cloud or small flying drops produced by the spray machine. This is sometimes used to spray the insecticide on the animal to prevent the ectoparasiticide. So that's known as the spray machine is used, and a particular concentration liquid is prepared and it's sprayed. And nowadays it's an era of pour-on preparation, PUOR, on preparation. So this is the application of drug solution, particularly an ectoparasite solution, along the animal's dorsal midline behind the shoulders or hip bones. So many preparations are available with cypermethrin, deltamethrin, flumethrin, and fipronil. So many preparations are there which are having acaricidal in action. So such drugs are applied on the body of the animal through this what you call as along the animal's dorsal midline behind the shoulders or hip bone. So it is this applicated so that it percolates down into the skin, etc. And some of the preparations are also known as the spot-on preparation. Spot-on preparations. Here it is known as the specified amount of the drug. A solution is applied on spot area on the head or neck. Sometimes the spot-on preparations, many times it is ectoparasiticide. It is particularly it is applied on the head portion. then it is spread to the entire body, especially in case of small animals like cat and dog. This type of the spot, what you call as the spot on preparations, are very commonly used. And mucous membranes routinely used for providing the localized action. The thing is, and the sublingual or below the buccal cavity, spread over the buccal mucosa or held in the mouth, and useful for a highly lipid soluble and non-irritating drug. This route of administration is used for that particular thing is concerned. And sublingual, the thin epithelium and the capillary network under the tongue and buccal mucous membranes permit the drug absorption and pharmacological action, especially in case of sublingual, especially as yesterday only we have learned. And the rectal or parectal route, insertion of the drug into the rectum, either in the form of the suppository, and most of the time the drugs like the purgatives, like bisacodyl and other drugs are used. Intraocular route into the conjunctiva, most of the time the drugs are used by this route. Intranasal means application of the drug in the nose, directly into the nose, that's known as intranasal. Intramammary route, many times the drugs are used using a particular route is concerned. Then the intrauterine means putting the drug directly inside the uterus. And intraurethral means in the urethra. Intraoral means in the ear. Many of the preparations are directly coming as the oral, oral, AURAL, it's referring to the ear. Intra-amniotic administration of the drugs into the space between the fetal membranes and endometrium inside the uterus. So this is a very specific type of these things. And intrabursal means administration of the drug into the bursa. Bursa is a fluid-filled sac which provides cushion between the bones and tendons. So intrabursal injection is commonly used in case of the human beings. And dermojet is the device for injecting the fluid without the needle. Here you can see using high pressure and very fine spurt. So here the triamcinolone for alopecia and insulin. Many times this is used. Triamcinolone is a long-acting steroid. It is used in case of alopecia and sometimes the drug is also used through the dermojets, especially the insulins. Other routes, intracoronary, inside the coronary arteries, intracarpus cavernosum, into the spaces of the cavernosum muscles of the males, and intradiscal means into the disc, intradural means into the duct of the gland, intraprostatic means into the prostate gland, intrasinal means into the periorbital or nasal sinus, intraspinal means into the vertebral column, intrasynovial into the synovial fluid, intratendinous means inside the tendinous, intratesticular means inside the this thing. And apart from this also many other routes like the intratubular, intratumor, inotophorosis and laryngeal route, and rectobulbar